In the next couple of lessons, we're going to explore pencil values and techniques. And I want you to get out your pencil case. It looks like this. It's a tin of 6 pencils. And it should have the values 2H, HB, B, 2B, 4B, and 6B. But it's possible that you may not have one of those pencils but have a substitute. Okay, and don't worry about that. We'll just use a substitute as well. All right, so what does that mean when we talk about those numbers and letters on the pencil? H refers to hard. So if I have a 2H pencil, that's a hard pencil. That means when I lay it down, it's very light. As we move towards the B's, B means soft, okay, it means black. And so if we move from B to 2B, 3B, 4B, 6B, it keeps getting softer and softer, darker and darker. Now, the B is the beginning of the softs, but there's a pencil in your case called HB, and that's the division between the hard pencils and the soft pencils, okay? And in this exercise, we're going to use all your pencils except for the 2H. The 2H, which is your hardest pencil, we're going to use that primarily for our perspective unit, okay, where we do just graphic lines. All right, so let's begin. So today I want to talk about value. If you remember correctly, value is everything that exists between white and black. So we're going to start to explore 5 values to begin with. So we're going to create a chart, and we're going to create squares that are about 1.5 by 1.5 inches. Okay. On mine, I just created 3 rows and just divided them into 1.5 inch squares. Okay. So on this top row, I'm going to work on 5 values. And the lightest value is going to be the value of the paper. And we're going to call that 0. Okay? Right here. This is 0. All right? And that's going to be the white of the paper. And then I'm going to go over 5 squares, and that's going to be value 5. And value 5 is going to be our darkest value. And what I'd like you to do is get out your 6B pencil. Make sure it's sharpened, and we're going to use parallel diagonal lines to create this value, okay? And you're going to try to create a nice, even tone in this square. Now you should be able to see a little bit of the white showing through of the paper, okay? And you do not want to take it so far as to create a shiny surface, okay? If that dark starts getting shiny, it does the opposite of what you want it to do. It acts like a mirror instead of absorbing the light and creating a dark, okay? So don't get it that dark. So this is your 6B pencil, okay? So now we have the range between 0 and 5. So now I want to work on value 3, and value 3 is going to be your 2B pencil. So get out your 2B, and we're going to do exactly the same thing, okay? Now I may need to adjust these values once I get them down, right? See where I'm going to be. Okay, that's value 3, and this is 2B. Okay. Now I want to create a value between 3 and 5. And that's going to be value 4, and that's going to be your 4B. So it's easier to remember, right? I'm going to go a little darker than the 3, and a little lighter than the 5. Okay. So now it looks like I need to go back in with my 6B just to darken this a little bit. Okay. Now we did this in our last project where we were making judgments between the tonal values, right? Okay, that's my 5. I'll go back in with my 4 just a tad. Okay. Remember, no shiny surfaces. Okay. And this one is 4B. All right. Now we're left with between 2 values between 0 and 3. Okay. Now, what I'd like to start with is the value number 1, and we're going to use our HB pencil now. All right. And don't go too dark with this. Okay, and this is our HB, which is closest to our hard pencil, and this is value 1. All right. Now we're going to go in and do value 2, and 2 is going to be with the B pencil. Okay. And we're going to try to get it halfway between 1 and 3. So a little darker than 1, a little lighter than 3. Okay. And you may have to go over it and adjust it, try to get these values close. All right. All right, and that's value number 2, and that's our B pencil. So that's beginning our soft pencils. All right, now this scale is our 5-value scale. And in order to be able to render form and for it to look 3-dimensional, you need at least 5 values, okay? When we look at the 5-value chart, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a dividing line right here on our 5-value chart. And 4 and 5 are going to be on the shadow side, and 0 through 3 are going to be on the light side, okay? All right, so 5 values in order to be able to get any kind of form and 3-dimensional effect. But I want to talk about 7 values also, because you may feel with a certain composition that you need 7 values, which is an additional 2 values. So right now I'd like to create a value between 4 and 5, and we're going to use our 4B pencil. All right, so I'm looking for halfway between here. And you can see it starts to get more and more subtle, right, between the values. So it has to be a little darker than 4, a little lighter than 5. Okay, right about there. Okay, and we're doing that with our 4B pencil. Okay. Now I also want a value on the light side between 2 and 3. And I'm going to use my B pencil for that, so get the B pencil out again. All right. So again, that has to be halfway between value 2 and value 3. You're going to see that on the light side there's a little bit more range than on the shadow side, because when you go to depict 3-dimensional form, you're inevitably going to have more values on the light side than on the shadow side. Okay? All right, so this you're going to do with the B pencil. All right. Now we have our 7 values here. We have 0 to our darkest value. Okay, so what I'd like you to do to create the 7-value chart is to bring these values down. And remember that this value is falling between these, and this value is falling between these 2. Okay, and then you're going to relabel it between 0 and value 7. Okay, and that's all that we're going to do today. Okay, and so I'm not going to do this right now. I'd like you to do it. Bring all these values down into a row for a 7-value chart.